out of which 8 years I was in, I'm in Success Factors. In these 8 years of experience, I have worked on employee central compensation, recruiting, performance management, these modules. Okay. Mostly I've spent though I've worked on recruiting, performance management, on some of the projects, but I'm not uh, well experienced candidate, I can say. When it comes to employee central and compensation, because I've spent most of my time in these areas, I'm more confident or more comfort in employee central and compensation. Coming to teaching, I've been, I'm into teaching from last 10 years. I used to train SAP HM earlier, the PE, OM, time, and payroll, to some extent ESS as well in SAP. After getting into success factors, now it is my 8th year into success factors. From last 5-6 years, I've been training the people on employee central and compensation as well. I've trained more than 150, 200, up to 150 to 200 students. Okay, so that's quick intro about me. So what we are going to learn in next or the coming sessions is on the success factors employee central, which is the core or the base module for success factors. Now, why do we call it as a core or a base module is because now success factors, we maintain all of the master data. In employee central, we maintain all of the master data, which is required for other modules like it can be learning, compensation, or recruiting or performance management. So all of these modules, they need some information from Employee Central, the master data. Okay, it could be the name of the employee, it could be ID of the employee, it could be for the manager of that employee or department in which the employee is working, or the salary details of the employee. So all of these details are sent to these modules from Employee Central. And once the module they complete their part, like performance management, they once the appraisals are completed, the ratings are sent back to Employee Central. Again, we store this data, performance management, the ratings, every year's ratings and the employees ratings we store in Employee Central. Again, compensation, they send the increased salary, so system updates the promotions or any salary increases that are there in the compensation to termination of the candidate. Again, after termination also, if you want to rehire the employee after later point of time, like after 2 or 3 years, we can still use the existing data in the system. Okay, so we can rehire the employee. That means we are making the employee active in the system. So all of this is done in the Success Factors Employee Central. So starting from hiring, we maintain all of this. Since we maintain all of this master data, that is at the operation side. Now, as a HR, when I log into the system, what my duty is to hire employees, maintain master data, do some events or the transactions for the employees. Like now, I can transfer the employee, I can suspend the employee, I can promote the employee, I can make some data changes, I can demote the employees, or if I have to terminate the employee, I'll terminate the employee, or if employee is on leave, I'll be inserting leave records. It could be a paid leave or it could be unpaid leave, or if there are any rehires, I'd be doing the rehire. That is at the operations side. HR would be doing all of these actions in the Success Factors Employee Central. As an employee, now if I am an employee, I log into the system, so I will look at my own data. If there is any data that I need to update, like my email ID or my address details or my medical details or my contact details, so all of this information I would be updating in the system. That's my part. Or if I have to download some data, like it could be a pay slip or it could be a document, of the appraisal document, or it could be any kind of data that belongs to me. I can download it from the system. Or if I have to apply a leave, or if I have to request something, I'd be doing everything in the Employee Central system again. Again, my performance appraisals, if I have to fill my goals, if I have to do my appraisal system, I'll be doing in the system. So this is as an employee. When a manager logs into the system, manager is also an employee of the organization. So he or she will be doing all of these activities what employee was doing. Other than these activities, manager would be approving the leave request, approving the transfer request, approving or rejecting the promotion request, or do the appraisals of the employee, or recommend some salary increases, or recommend some promotions for the employees. That's as a manager. So every employee in the organization uses the system in some way. It could be employee, it could be HR, it could be a manager, or it could be a department head. So all of these employees logs into the system and uses the system. So what we do as a consultant. Okay, now we would be, after this training, all of you would be, once you get into jobs. So what would be your role? Let's say role of a success factors consultant. Let's say SFEC consultant. Okay, role of a success factors CC consultant. What would we be doing in the system? Success factors is a global product. Okay, now it has got all the features which are required for the customers. So as a consultant, we approach the customer. Okay, here we have customer, implementation partner, then you have consultant. Now who is a customer? Customer is a end user. We implement or we support the customer. So success factors, now customer buys the success factors license. Okay, now before they start using the system, somebody has to configure as per their requirement. So implementation partner is the one who would be implementing success factors for customers. Customer will buy a license of success factors, but somebody has to set the system as per customer's requirement. Now, if you go to personal information, success factors gives you hundreds of fields like first name, last name, middle name, for preferred name, or business first name, business last name, gender, salutation, preferred language, preferred country. So all of these fields are standard fields which are available in the system, but all of this may not be required for every customer. Now, some customer may say that I don't want to use middle name, or I don't want to use initials. I just want first name, or I just want last name. Or some fields are mandatory, some fields are optional. Your customer might say, I know I want to have this as a mandatory, or this as a optional field. So all of these requirements, implementation partner would be getting from the customer and implements the system. Now, who are the implementation partners? The examples could be your Deloitte or Wipro or IBM or Accenture. Not anybody or not everyone can go and implement. Now, these partners, these organizations have to be tied up with SAP. Now, SAP cannot implement success factors for all the customers across the globe. We have thousands of customers across the globe. Now, SAP cannot implement SF for each and every customer. So SAP gives their franchise. It's like franchising. Now, if you take an example of McDonald's or KFC, what they do is they take franchising and then they start selling the products. Now, all of the products, what we if you go to KFC or McDonald's, you'll get the same burger, or you'll get the same fried chicken every KFC or every McDonald's, because the product comes from KFC or product comes from McDonald's. Same thing, SF product comes from SAP. The same product is implemented for the customer. And who are the implementation partner? These are the authorized organizations which can implement success factors to customer. Now, if I own, these are big companies like IBM or Deloitte or Accenture. These are big companies. Now, if I am planning to have start an organization, and I want to implement success factors for customers. So firstly, I have to approach SAP. I need to take license from them, saying I have so-and-so team and I would be implementing success factors for customers. So I have to first go and apply for the license. So now once I buy the license, then I would become implementation partner. So implementation partner would be implementing for customer, and the consultants are the one who would be implementing for customer. So consultants are employed by implementation partner, not by customer. Now only these consultants can be hired by implementation partner. cannot be hired by customer. I'll tell you in the later stages and the later time, I'll be telling you why consultants have to work only under implementation partner and why not under customer. You might see sometimes you might see the consultants moving to customer. You would be supporting the customer. Now, customer cannot hire consultant and start implementing success factors. No, because they are not implementation partner. Not everybody can implement SF. Only the partners can implement for customers. So that's why consultants are hired by implementation partners. Any doubts so far?
One question here. You said regarding that events. So let's say, can we capture the event and send it to some of the brokers, or like how does this event work?
Events are nothing but the transactions that a HR performs.
Mm-hmm.
The examples could be your hire,
Mm-hmm.
transfer,
Mm-hmm.
promotion, termination, suspension, data changes, etc. These are some of the events. We have around 20 plus standard events in system.
Yeah.
Okay. You cannot create any additional events in system, but you can create for each of these events, you can create event reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like you take a promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Promotion can be a salary increase. Promotion can be a grade change.
Mm-hmm.
Promotion can be grade change with salary increase.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these are promotions. Transfers,
Mm-hmm.
you can be transferred from one department to other department, or you can be transferred from one location to other location. You can be moved from one manager to other manager. So all of these are transfers. So you can create any number of event reasons. Those are called event reason. The department transfer or location transfer or a manager transfer. These
Mm-hmm.
are called the event reasons. Now, events are standard in success factors. So we have around 20 plus events. And all of these events will be performed either by consultants or by HR operations. Now, these are to be out of these 20 or 20 plus standard events in system, you need to approach customer and find out what are the required events for them. Now, this we would be getting it from the kickoff meetings. Initially, we start interacting with the customer and find out their requirement. We ask them, see, these are the list of events that SuccessFactors provides. Do you need all of these events? Now you have something called global assignment. Now, global assignment can be used for a customer who has got their operations in different countries. Now, I operate from India, I operate from US, I operate from China and Japan. Now, if an employee moves from one country to other country, that is called global assignment. Now, it can be a country transfer. If the employee is completely being transferred, it is called country transfer. Or if an employee is going to some other country for on some project work, that is called global assignment
Yeah,
from
Venu,
one country to other country.
I understand this concept, but the thing is that how do you capture this one and send it to the third parties? Let's say I need to generate
Now,
this SAP
yes,
success factor generates the event.
yes,
So can we capture this
yes,
event and send it to the third party? That was my question.
yes. Now, third party. What is the third? What is your third party? Is it
Let's
SAP? Is it Oracle? Or is it any other
no
application?
no.
Now,
Let's say I have
there
a
should be
Solas broker.
some.
I have a broker
Sorry.
manager. I have a broker. Let's say messaging broker. It could be JMS messaging
Okay.
broker. It could be a Solas. It could be a Kafka. Can we
Okay.
capture this event and send it to the Kafka? Let's say.
Yes. Now, this can be captured and this can be transferred to other applications
Mm-hmm.
by a middleware called either PI, okay, or
Mm-hmm.
SAP, it's HCI, HANA Cloud Integrations, okay,
Mm-hmm.
or by Dell Boomi. So you should have some interface or
Okay.
some middleware
Mm-hmm.
which would be taking the data from success factors and sending it to. Now you should also be, as a third party, you should also be having the similar setup. Like now I might call in success factors, I might call it as events, but in SAP, when I'm transferring the data from SF2 or success factors to SAP, now SAP, they call it personal actions. Okay, now you should also have that personal action in SAP. Okay, similarly, the third party application, when I send the data, now I'm sending the employees data like first name and last name, you should also have the similar setup in your system where the data gets stored. So now it can be a different name. Now I might be using it as event, but your application is using it as a personal action. So the middleware joins both of these fields, the event with personal action,
Okay.
and they will be scheduling a job. Now we have some job schedulers where we schedule the job and system on every day, like it can be scheduled once in a day or twice in a day based on the operations that we do. Now generally it is once in a day. So once in a day, system updates or system moves all of this data to your third party application. Or sometimes what happens is, now take an example of cost centers. Cost centers are generally maintained in finance system. So, but SuccessFactors is not a finance system. SuccessFactors is a HR system. Now, SuccessFactors, if you want the cost centers to be maintained by the finance system, what integration team does is they get all of this cost center data, and when the job runs, they updates these cost centers. Now, it could be the updates in the existing cost centers or the new cost centers. System will create those new cost centers into this into SAP SF. Okay.
Mhm. So what is the integration? What do you
Now
call it?
it all depends upon the customer, what interface they want to use. Now some
Okay.
users, now most of the times I have seen people using Dell Boomi,
Okay.
or now customers, now SAP is recommending them to go with HANA Cloud integration because that's SAP's product.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
What is the role of integrations, intelligent center over here? Can we also capture this intelligence center as event?
Integration center.
Okay.
Integration center. Yeah,
Okay.
integration center is where your data gets captured. Data gets captured and transferred to other applications.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, again, project to project, you will have the integration team based on the application that you use. Now, let's say you're into one of the project, and that project, the customer wanted to have Dell Boomi as the interface. So you should hire Dell Boomi consultants, who would be working on the interfaces. Or if it is a HANA Cloud integration, then you should hire HANA Cloud integrations team to capture the data from SuccessFactors and move it to the other applications. Okay. Now, all of these are done by a consultant. Consultants can move from one implementation partner to, let's say, today I'm working for Deloitte. Now, if I want to move out of Deloitte, I would be looking after a job, and let's say I want to move to IBM. IBM is also an implementation partner. So I would be going there, and I'll be working on the projects that are specific to IBM. So on a whole, as a consultant, either I will be doing implementation, or the second is support. Implementation means getting the requirements from your customer, building the system, configuring the system, and handing it over to customer. The best part in SuccessFactors is each and every customer who is using SuccessFactors should have support consultants working with them. Every SuccessFactors, every customer who is using SuccessFactors, they should have a support consultant. Now, what is the role of a support consultant? What will I do as a support consultant? Is most of the times, the implementation partners, they hire these support consultants. Why do they hire support consultant? Because they have to support the customers, all of these thousands of customers across the globe. So somebody should be supporting them. Now, what do we do in support? Support generally will have incident management. In incident management, you would be getting tickets. Now, customer is using SuccessFactors application. Today, they are trying to hire an employee. They got stuck up with the hiring. They are getting some error. Now, somebody has to see what is the error, analyze and fix that error. Now, that someone is the support consultant. So, they will be creating an incident or they'll be creating a ticket. Again, this ticketing tool can be anything. It can be Salesforce ticketing tool, or it can be ServiceNow ticketing tool, or it can be SAP's ticketing tool. It can be anything again. So customer would be creating the incident. Now this incident can be for the fixes, or it can be the analysis, or it can be uh, movement of the configurations. So customers every day they'd be creating the incidents, and as a consultant you have to go and resolve those incidents or resolve those issues which are raised by customers. Again, it depending on the SLAs, like if they are following SLAs like service level agreement, SLA service level agreement, where they will have the tickets with high priority, tickets with medium priority, and tickets with low priority. So these are the examples. Sometimes you'll also have very high priority. Now high priority, you'll have SLA saying that this whenever you get a high priority ticket, you have to resolve it in a day. For you as a ticket, once the ticket is assigned to you, you should be resolving this by or within a day. Okay. Or if it is a medium ticket, maybe you have 2 or 3 days. Or if it is a low priority ticket, it can be for 4 days or 5 days. But it doesn't mean that you have to wait for 5 days to answer the ticket. If you have that answer, or if you can fix it immediately, you can do that. So depending on the contract between the customer and implementation partner, you can have high and low, or very high, high, low and medium, or high, medium and low. It can be any kind of tickets. Second is the change management. Now, while implementing, customer doesn't know about the product. So implementation is completed. Now they have started using the system, and they realize that there are a lot of features which were not, which they have not seen earlier, and now they want to implement. Or something is already configured, they want to improve, or they want to add or update the configuration. Let's say the approvals. They're using 2 level of approvals in transfer, but the company policy has changed, and some of the persons are to be included in the approvals. Maybe I want to change it to 3 levels or 4 levels of approval. That's a change in the system. Or something was not implemented earlier, now we have to implement that in the system because that's a new requirement. So that would be taken as change management. It is same as your implementation. Again, in the change management, whatever change that is requested by your customer, you have to go find out what is the change that you have to do. What is the process? You need to understand the process flow. Get the requirement and configure it in the system. Test and deploy it to your customer. That's change management. And then third is release management. The release management, SuccessFactors upgrades their product once in 6 months. Every 6 months, you will see new changes in the system. Now, these changes can be fixes. Now, somebody has identified a bug in the system, they have reported it to SAP. SAP fixes that bug. SAP got some request from the customer saying that this feature is not available in the system. Somebody has raised a ticket. SuccessFactors would be implementing that and deploying it to the system once in 6 months. So it could be a fixes, or it could be a new change into the system, or a new functionality adding into the system. So yearly twice. Now earlier, before 2020, we used to have 4 releases, quarterly. We used to call them Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Now we have 2 releases, H1, 1H and 2H, first half and second half. Okay, we'll talk more on the release management, what comes in release management, what is your role as a consultant, what you have to do when release happens. So all of those things we'll discuss separately. Okay, so this is your role. All of this is your role. So yeah, either you would be in implementation or you would be in the support. Now people think that support is easier than implementation. Some people who have worked on support think that implementation is easier than support. It is nothing like that. If you know the process, if you know the configuration, no, both of them are same. Support, somebody implements the system and they will hand it over to customer and they will leave. When you started working as a support consultant, you will be getting the tickets like there is some change in the configuration or some issues in the configuration. This configuration is working only for some scenarios. There are some other scenarios of where your configuration is failing. You need to identify, you need to analyze, you need to uh, deep dive into that and see what is the issue. You have to fix it. So you would be experimenting a lot in the system as a support consultant. Okay, any doubts here? Role of a SFEC consultant.
Hi, can you quickly please reiterate on all the three incident, change, and release managements, please?
Okay. Incident management means solving the tickets or fixing the issues. Customer, when they access the system, if they find any bug or if they find any issue in the system, they might create a ticket and assign it to you. Now, let's say today I'm HR, I am doing some transfer. Now, instead of a manager, it is going to manager's manager. Now, I want to know why as per my approval process, the company's process, it should have gone to manager, but it is going to manager's manager. I want to know why it is going to manager's manager. Okay, so you will have to analyze what is the issue, why system is behaving differently in this case, or somebody is trying to hire an employee and some error is popping up and they are unable to hire the employee. Now they have taken, they'll be taking a screenshot and attaching it to the ticket, and they will ask you to work on this ticket. Now you need to identify, you need to replicate that issue. Why they are getting that error? Now these errors, most of these errors, you can. There is a portal called Launchpad where you can search for the issues. Now, SuccessFactors, the general tickets or the general issues what you get in system, for all of those, SuccessFactors has documented them, how to fix them or how to resolve them. So if that case matches, then you can go, implement that or fix that issue, or tell them that because you are using this, this value instead of this value, that is why you are getting this error. So you need to, as a consultant, you need to identify, analyze, and fix the issue. Or if it is analysis, you just have to document and share the document with them. Okay, that's incident management. So every day you will be getting some tickets. Now these tickets can be high priority tickets or low priority tickets or medium priority tickets, or it can be very high priority. Depending on customer and the implementation partner agreement, you'll have either only two. Sometimes you'll only see high priority and low priority. If it is a high priority, that means it is to be worked on work immediately, and you have to resolve it within a day or 4 hours or 5 hours. Of suddenly system stopped working, and then customer has created a ticket to look into the issue. So you need to work on it immediately. There are some low priority tickets now may not be required at this moment, but is good to have the feature in the system, or good to have one particular field in the system. You are asked to look into that and analyze. So you need to share the analysis. That's incident management. Second is change management. Now, existing process, you have some process defined in the system, but you want to implement some additional changes in the system. Maybe approval process is defined for transfer, but not for promotions. Now, customer want to implement approval process for promotions as well. So whenever somebody initiates or somebody creates the promotion request, it should go to some manager or manager's manager or HR or some department head. So they should be approving the request. Only then it should go and update in the system. So that's a change in the system. Earlier it was not there. Now you want to implement that. Okay, it could be the new functionality. It could be change in the process. It could be anything. Third is release. SuccessFactors updates their product once in 6 months, like any other product. If you take WhatsApp application, which we use daily in our life, so the WhatsApp application, what we see today, has got a lot of features when compared to the WhatsApp application what we used it 4 years back or 5 years back. Yes or no? Initially, when
Yes.
WhatsApp started, we didn't had these many features. Like, no, you can add location now, you can add a document, you can share a document, you can now even pay some, you can also do some payments in WhatsApp. So all
Payments.
of these
Yes.
features were not available earlier, but slowly they are enhancing the product. Now similarly, SuccessFactors also gets the requirements from customer. Today, if I'm a customer, I'm using SuccessFactors from last 3 years or 4 years. Now, how I thought, I have given them some advice saying that no, we have this process. This process is being implemented by a lot of customers across the globe. It could be better, or it could be very useful if you implement this in the system, this in the SuccessFactors system. So SuccessFactors understands the customer's requirement. They implement some changes. Okay,
Right.
it could be some change which was requested by some customer, or they have identified some bugs. There's some bug. No, in one scenario, it is failing or it is giving some error, some vague error. This was
Okay.
not there for any customer. No, they will identify the issue and they'll fix that issue. And all of these issues which are fixed, or all of the new enhancements which are done, they will be updating or upgrading the system. So we have different patches. Now, if you go and see, you will have the version of SuccessFactors.
Right.
Okay. Every time you log
Yes.
in or when you open the SuccessFactors link, you will see the version information. Clear on release management? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I just wanted to know that you are saying that some changes will be there by ACP, right? It will be by ACP, the updated
Yes.
version.
Yes.
So consultant automatically will get to know like how what are the changes, or ACP will inform. Um,
No,
I mean,
on a particular day, now if I go to one of the portals, I
mhm.
thought of showing you this in coming session, but still you have asked. We have a portal for community.successfactors.com, where SAP would be releasing all the new functionalities, about the new features that are going to come in the system. Just before it gets updated in the system, now SAP will give all the timelines. Next release, when SAP is going to update the 2H 2022, or when it is going to update 1H 2023. Before 1 week, they will be now SAP would be conducting some webinars. Now, as a consultant, if you are certified, now you need to do certification also. I'll talk about certification at a later point of time. You will be getting some kind of information, like from SAP, you would be getting emails saying that on so and so date, SAP would be updating the version from 1H to 2H 2022, and these are the new version, new features which are going to come in the system. So every once in a week, within a week, they will be conducting some webinars. If you are unable to attend the webinars, you will have the videos as well. Okay, and if you don't have the no if you are not interested in looking at the video, you will have some PDF documents. You can also go and view those PDF documents. What are these changes? You have to understand. Now it will explain in detail. They'll have recorded videos also for each feature. Not every feature, but some features, wherever they can record it, they will have a video, and you just have to go watch the video, what is that new release, and you have to document. Generally, wherever wherever I have worked, we now use or we follow a practice called PPT presentations, PowerPoint presentations. So in the PowerPoint presentation, we identify the release features which are applicable for my customer. Okay. If customer is using that feature, what is that feature? How the system, what are the fields that we have in that feature, and what are the new fields that are added now. How system is looking before release and after release. So we prepare this presentation and we show it to the customer. Here you have release updates and roadmap. If I go to release updates and roadmap, system will show me the dates. You see here, after logging
Okay.
in, it says second half 2022 release timing update. Okay, is changed. The preview and production dates have changed. Now here you will see the release dates. First half happened on 15th April and 20th April. I'll tell you what is preview and what is production. Second half is scheduled to 28th October. Usually it is the midnights of Friday, early hours of Saturday. So all of these dates are early hours of Saturday or midnights of Friday. October 28th and December 9th. Next release also you have the dates. First half 2023, April 14th and May 19th. Second half October 13th and November 7th. Now earlier these dates were different. That's why they said updated.
Okay.
Now what is
Fine.
available in the new features? You have to go and see here. Okay, I'll tell you the details now about the release management in detail.
I just wanted to have
Now,
one clarification for
no,
this, for success factor, that
hmm,
I'm using one application where, similar to success factor, but I'm working as an end user. I'm taking care
hmm,
of HR activities till the
yeah,
onboarding. Okay, but we have one portal like Zoho, you can say, or Talio kind of. We
yeah,
have, but I'm using as an end user. So we take care from the starting of the application shortlisting to till the candidate get released from the
hmm,
organization. All the
hmm,
activities we do on that
yes,
portal.
hmm, hmm,
Okay, so I just wanted to understand if you were working as a consultant. Okay, so success factor is already a design product. So
yes.
if a client required some features, then only we can enable that, right? We means adding and removing that feature. We can, as a consultant, we can do that, right?
Hmm. As a consultant, now let me give a simple example. Now this is the home page. When you log in, this is what I see. Now
Okay.
this is a demo system. So I see all of these things on the home page. This is called the
Okay.
home page or landing page. Now your customer, when they see this, now customer might ask for their requirement. I want to have my logo here. This is some success factors logo. Oh,
Okay.
they'll ask us to have their own logo. Okay, now they have to give us the logo. Now, where do you want to have your logo? Onto the left hand side of the screen, right hand side of the screen, or center of the screen? So we can design that. Now, this is into this color. Now, you can see most of the page in this color. Now, customer might say, I don't want this color. I want to have red or the combination of red and white. So we can have that color. Now, this is the picture, the globe, now where the global picture. Now, for every customer, when they start using the success factors, you will see the same picture. A customer might ask us for their picture. Now they can, if they give us their own picture, we'll be uploading that. The background, if they want to change, we can change that. Or now, success factors is an inbuilt application, so everything is there in the system. So what will we do as a consultant? So we do all of these changes. Now, success factors gives you option to create departments in system. Now, each customer has got their own departments. Some are into manufacturing, so they have some departments like HR, sales, finance, and then engineering department or production department. Now, there are some customers who are into banking. They may not use all of these departments, the production or sales. They may not use these departments. They have their own departments. Now, some calls HR as a human resource system, or some call it as HRA system, or some call it some other name. So all of these things now I have to go and create the departments. Now your customer says, I want to have 10 departments: finance, HR, sales, production, engineering. So I want to have 10 departments. So customer will give you those list of department names. So you have to go configure a department, search for a department and create a department. customer operates from 10 different locations. So the list of 10 locations should be made available for your customer. So that's your duty. You have to go create a location. Now that location should, whenever HR tries to hire or HR tries to move the employee, in the drop down, it should show up. Now, if your customer is operating from 10 different countries and they have different locations in each country, in India, they operate from Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, and Mumbai. So when they try to move the employee, system should show only those locations which are applicable for that country. It should not show all the hundreds of locations which you have created for all other countries. No, it should only show the available or applicable list of locations or applicable departments. Now
Okay, so
within,
for doing all this, we don't need to do any, I mean, technical things to do, like coding
no,
and all we have to do, right?
coding and all success factors, we don't have any coding. We have
Oh,
only one thing called XMLs. Okay. That also you need to have an understanding of the XML language. You will not be doing any coding here. You have the standard XML files. If at all required, you have to download them, review them. If there are any changes, you have to make those changes. Now, what changes you have to do, how to do those changes, I will be telling you. We have a sessions on XML. I'll make sure at the end of the session, all of you will have the enough knowledge. Now, if I ask you to change something in the XML, you'll go and change that.
yeah.
Very little changes you will be doing in the XMLs. That's the only thing. Maybe 1% of complete implementation is your XML. Now, earlier, the initial stages, now when I started working for SuccessFactors, I used to do a lot of things in XML. But now, SuccessFactors have migrated most of these things into system. Now we are not doing through XML. We are doing it through front-end departments. Now, earlier to create these fields, we used to go to XML, then create. Now, some fields are mandatory, some fields are optional. We used to make them optional to mandatory or mandatory or optional. If there are any custom fields to be created, we used to do it in XML. Now we are not doing anything in the XML. We are doing it in the system itself. We have option to do that in the system. Now, those are release features. Each release, success factors, they are cutting down the dependency of the XMLs. Okay, so we'll also discuss on the XMLs. So all of these things you will be doing as a consultant. Getting the requirement. Now we have the option, or we can configure a workflow in the system, any number of workflows. Now workflows are nothing but your approval process. The customer says, I want to have 10 levels of approvals in transfers. Yes, you can configure. It is not user specific, it is process specific. For transfer, let's say I want to have first level, it should go to manager. Second level, it should go to manager's manager. Third level, it should go to HR. Fourth level, it should go to some HR VP. Fifth level, I want it to be going to department head, that employs department head. Or fifth level, I want it to go to some president or vice president. So you can configure all of these things. Now I want to have 20 levels of approval. Yes, we can configure those 20 levels of approval. So some says I don't want to have any approval, but whenever something happens in the system, I want user should be getting some kind of notification. Transfer, when somebody do it, manager can do it. Manager, when they transfer, the user should know that he or she is being transferred. So system sends a notification. You can just configure a simple CC notification workflow. So all of these things, you should know what you can do in what we can do in system. Now, when you start interacting with the customer gives you a requirement saying that I want to have this in the system. Now, you should be able to judge whether that is possible in the system or not. Now, some things may not be possible in the system. Now, your customer says, I want to have the workflow to be sent to this particular person. Now you can say that no, this is not the best practice that we follow. Now, generally, we have these options. We can route this to the these roles, or this particular step can be included or excluded, or no, you can follow this. Oh no, your customer says no, I want to have this. No, you try to give some exception, how or how alternate resolution for that. So as a consultant, you should know if that can be done in the system or how it can be done in the system. You should know that. That will be doing it in the sessions. So that's why initial first 4 sessions would be completely of theoretical part. You don't have to do anything in the system, but these are the things which you should know what you will be doing as a consultant. What is implementation partner? What is consultant, or what is landscape? What is release management? You should know all of these things before you get into job. Or suddenly, you get a job and you're asked to do the release document. Now you should know what is the release document. Where should I go and look at the process? Where should I get the screenshots? What are these? What is the landscape of the system? So all of these things you should know when you step into the job. So first 4 sessions, I would be covering all the theoretical part, and from 5th session onwards, slowly we'll move to configuration. Every day we'll be doing some configurations. We start with configuring these departments, companies, locations, and once we configure all of this, we go and see how to hire an employee, how to hire bulk employees, how to import. If you have hundreds of positions, hundreds of departments to be created, you cannot do them manually. We go see how to import the employee data, and then you configure the workflows, you configure the logics, you configure the business rules, you configure the system setup, system themes, how to set up the themes, how to set up the logos, how to create the person IDs. So all of these things you will be doing in the daily life. So the 5th session onwards is completely a practical part. You'll be given system access, which can be accessed 24 hours. It is just a URL and your ID and password. You log into the system, then start doing what we have done in the system. So next day when you come, you ask me doubts. Yesterday I tried to do this and I'm getting this error, or I was unable to create a department or create a company because we were getting this error, or some field was missing, or some additional fields are there, some mandatory fields are there which we have to key in. So you can ask me doubts. I'll be giving you all those clarifications, and then we move to a different topic. So complete 20 or 21 sessions would be a practical part. Okay. We'll be looking at all the real-time scenarios. Now what a customer asks you and how the different scenarios can be built in the system. So when hiring the employees, some customers ask you to have some fields in some portlets. So how do you create those fields? Or some customer says, I want to have a person IDs to be generated by system, and I want to have different IDs for different location employees or different company employees. Yes, we can do that. How to do that? Okay, so all of these things, the real-time scenarios we discuss, and we do it in the system. Only first 4 sessions would be theoretical part.
Sir, can we have that is a specialized based training, sir?
What do
For
you mean by
example, if I am
specialized?
into payroll process, can I get the training based on that?
Payroll, see, we have different modules in SuccessFactors. Employee Central is the base or the core module. So it takes 25 sessions to learn Employee Central. Now we also have time off, which takes 15 sessions to learn time off. We have compensation module. So it takes 12 to 15 days. We have performance management. It takes 10 to 12 days. We have recruiting module, 15 to 20 days. Or we have onboarding module. It takes another 15 to 20 days. ECP, we have 10 to 15 days. So you have different modules with different time periods. So some of them are small modules like compensation and the performance management. These are small modules. You can learn quickly, or if you know SuccessFactors system, it is easy to learn them. Employee Central, since it is the base module, so we will be doing a lot of operations here. And this is very important to know. So everybody, performance management guy also should know how to maintain the data. So they should have at least some basic knowledge of Employee Central. every consultant, every module consultant should have some knowledge in Employee Central, because data comes from Employee Central and data goes into Employee Central. So you will have module specific consultant. When you are assigned with a project, you will see 2 or 3 EC consultants. You will see 1 or 2 performance consultant. You will see 1 or 2 comp consultant, 1 or 2 learning consultants, 1 or 2 recruiting consultant. So depending on the size of the project, you will see all of these consultants. So every consultant would be working on only one module at a time.
Is EC has travel management?
EC doesn't have any travel management. So we don't have anything called travel management here.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm into this training and development since 1.5 years almost. Okay, and this SAP SuccessFactors on this particular domain is entirely new to me, with the hiring and every other detail which you mentioned here. So, is there any other effort which I need to put in, because I'm not from the HR background, I'm not even an MBA grad. I was interested into HR activities, so I joined HR, and I was into training and development. Even now I'm part of training. I work as a faculty. So this is which sort of caught my interest. So I thought I'll be here. So is there any other effort you want me to put, or is it the normal one?
HR process is not a rocket science that you cannot learn. Okay, it is easy. You just have to understand the process, and which I will be explaining you. Okay. Before configuring anything, I'll be explaining you what is to be configured, how it is to be configured, and how it is going to be used for the employee data.
Okay.
Okay. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Now, it is a simple process. Anybody now, if I'm a layman, I don't know success factors. Okay. So, but I'm working for some organizations. So I know once I get the offer letter, I have to accept the offer letter. On the day of joining, I have to submit some documents to the HR. Okay. I'll be going to the organization. I'll be giving them some scanned copies, or no, I'll be maybe if we have onboarding, you'll be submitting all of those documents. Okay.
Right.
Now, when I go to HR gives me ID saying that now this is your ID card where your ID is printed. So you'll have a number and your data. So they will give you your credentials that you can use the SuccessFactors application for your ESS login. So you can go log into the system. Maybe you will have to fill some data in it. Now, when you go and see, most of your data is already there in the system because HR has updated all of that data. So you will be given some guidance how to apply a leave, or how to view your payslip, or how to go and check your salary details. So all of this you'll be given, or somewhere in the SharePoint they must have created SOPs, and they must have placed it. So you just have to refer them, start using it. You want to transfer from one location to, you are from Bangalore and you're working in Hyderabad. So you have requested HR for transfer. HR will transfer it. So whatever approvals they have taken, they will transfer you. Right. So every year, some performance appraisals are to be conducted, and you will have to fill your goals. Or your manager will review. Manager will give you appraisals if required, or if applicable, you will be promoted. So how to promote? Your grade should be changed. So these things everybody knows. Okay, because so one way or the other way, either you have you are working for some organization, and all of these are part of that job, or if you are a HR, it is your regular duty. Most of SuccessFactors is a HR application. It mostly used by the HR people, and employees also uses to their personal use. Okay. So these are known to everyone. Maybe the terminology is a bit different. Okay, you'll get used to that.
Right.
As it is my first class, I don't know about the module, sir. So as of now, I know that you are explaining the Employee Central module. So for Employee Central module, do we need any prerequisites like
We don't
HCM,
have.
SAP, HCM?
That's no. You don't need anything here. no prerequisites. At least you should have a degree or MBA. Okay. You don't have to know SAP HCM. SAP HCM is one of the HR product. If you are into SAP HR, you must be knowing the process what SAP does. But again, SF, the process is different here. Okay. So you will have only one advantage that you know how to implement for the customers, the SAP HCM. A similar, maybe some of them are similar in SuccessFactors also. Or if you are working in Oracle Fusion or some application of HR. Okay. So you'll at least know the process. Again, that application is different and SuccessFactors is different. Maybe you are working in Workday. Workday, the screens are different. The process is same. Everybody does the hiring, everybody does the transfers, everybody does the promotions, everybody process some approvals. So the screens are different, the features are different, the options are different here. Okay. Now, if you have knowledge into one of these applications, that's an added advantage. Okay. Now, you don't have to be HR. Not all consultants who are working in SuccessFactors are from HR background. Now, if you are from HR background, that's an added advantage to you. You know what you do in hiring. So generally, if I'm a HR, so I will know the HR process. What should I do for while hiring the candidate? What all documents are to be collected? How to transfer the employee? How to promote the employee? When to promote the employee? When to give the promotion for employee? Whether employee is eligible or not? How many years of employee has completed with the organization? Well, you should know the policies. You will know the policies if you are a HR. Right. If you don't, if you are not from a HR background, if you have not worked on SAP HR, yes, yeah. And I'm just giving an example. Even if you doesn't have any HR experience, or if you're not from a HR, if you have not worked on any of the HR application, then also you can learn SuccessFactors. But you need to understand, you need to know the process. Okay. Why do HRs collect this information? Where do we store this? So why do we store this? You should know these things.
Okay. Thank you.
I just wanted to know, like, in what way you suggest SuccessFactor is better than Workday, or vice versa?
Yeah. So it is. Every product has got their own advantages and limitations. Okay. Maybe some features which we have in SuccessFactors we don't have in Workday. Some features which we have in Workday we don't have in SuccessFactors. One thing I can say that Workday doesn't allow you to do customizations, much customizations in the product. But SuccessFactors has got feasibility. The product has got some options or the feasibility. It allows you to customize the product. If I have to create my own screen, yes, you can do that. But in Workday, you cannot do that. So it is always like if I am in SuccessFactors, people might say that no, Workday is good. Because I'm using, I'll say that product is good. But only when you go and work on that product, you will come to know what are the limitations. The other side of the grass is always green. Right? Same thing.
Yes.
It has got its own advantages and own disadvantages. Same thing in SuccessFactors also.
Okay.
You cannot do any coding. In both the applications, you cannot do any coding. It's like thumbs up and Pepsi. What do you want to have? Want to have Pepsi or thumbs up? So it's your choice. Some may like thumbs up, some may like Pepsi. Now, some say that no, Pepsi is not good. Pepsi doesn't taste good. Now, some say that no, Pepsi tastes much better than thumbs up. So same, the product wise, if you see, they look same, but it has got a different taste. The same thing with SuccessFactors and Workday. SuccessFactors is a SAP product. That's Workday is a Oracle product.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You can do certifications in SuccessFactors. You can do success certification is open. Anybody can just subscribe for the certification hub and you can do certification. But in Workday, you should be associated with some implementation partner to do the certification. Not everybody can go and do the certification.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I have one question. In case
Yes,
of any
Ratna.
job opportunity, will they ask for certification?
Yes. Success factors, every aspirant who want to get into success factors, the first thing that your interview asks is whether you have certification or not. Okay. Certification, every implementation you need certification. I'll tell you in detail why do you need certification, what can you do with certification, and what cannot be done without certification. Okay. Thing, like for one implementation, you might need certification just for doing a 10-minute job or 30 minutes job. For that job, you have to have certification. After that, you will not require your certification at all. But without that 30 minutes of work, you will not be able to do the rest of the 90% or 95% of the configuration. For that 5% of configuration, which is the start for the implementation, that needs certification, and that is mandatory. Now, if somebody asks me if it is a mandatory to have certification, I will say no. Not everybody needs certification in a project. If one or two has got certification, you can ask them to do that activity. You should know what is to be done. Yes, go ahead.
Like you said, you'll be covering performance management in this few
No,
sessions.
no, I never
No?
said that I would be covering performance management. Performance
Okay.
management, it takes another 10 to 12 sessions
15
to
minutes.
cover performance
Okay.
management.
So same in case of a LMS also. Like,
Yes, LMS is again, it takes 15 to 16 sessions.
okay.
Now, if you want to have a gist of performance management or compensation or recruiting, I can give you some knowledge in it. How
Right.
now see, once you have the knowledge of success factors, once you know how to configure the system, you can start implementing or start learning the implementations. Okay, success
Yes.
factors, at least it is easy than any other application. I was in SAP, so SAP it is very difficult compared to success factors. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what model we are going to cover in these sessions?
It is
Only.
purely employee central, core employee central. So
Okay.
I have the content as well, what we will be covering in next 20-25 days. This is compensation and this is AC. So all of these things will be covering in next 25 days.
Okay.
It will
If
be
you are in
given 1 month.
more than that, is there any chance?
See, you have a lot in the system, but
Okay.
as a beginner, this is what you need. From here, it is your interest. What do you want to learn? You can explore the system and learn a lot. Now, there is a lot in Employee Central now because every customer's requirement is different. Some may use transfer, some may not use transfer. Some says we don't have the policy of transferring employees. We have only one location. Everybody has to work from here. So there is no question of having the transfer event, configuring the transfer event for them. Okay. Some may say that we don't use suspensions. We don't suspend our employees. We have the flexibility of employees to work from anywhere, or we give them chance to work differently. So we don't suspend the employees. So there is no point, or there is no we don't have to configure suspension for them. So every customer's requirement is different. Some may say that whenever user does this, I want system to throw an error or give some warning message or give some pop-up message saying that you cannot do this or you can only do this, or some message is to be popped up. Yes, we can configure, we can customize the product.
Okay.
Okay.
I have one question I just wanted to ask. Uh,
Hmm.
I
Right.
work. I am working as a ABAP HR, okay, and I have also some knowledge in basic PA and some payroll module of SAP HCM, okay. So,
Yes.
so suppose if I learn success factor, so it will get increase the chances of like job opportunities.
Yes, definitely. SuccessFactors is a cloud computing application, and in coming days, you will see all the products moving to cloud.
Yeah,
Okay.
actually,
So why?
basically,
What?
yeah,
Yeah.
I just saw some success factor standard templates where SAP is moving from SAP to success factors. So
Yes.
that's what I see as that. So that's why I register here. I will get some knowledge about a success factor and all. So,
Yes.
like this is a like a I am going on a right path. So
Yes.
just
Definitely.
wanted to ask.
100% you're 100 with one day you'll definitely have to know, if not today, maybe after 6 months or 1 year, you'll have to move to, the cloud computing application. Since you're into SAP, already into SAP, so success factors is one of your option.
Okay, because I worked as a techno functional.
Yes. Since you are into ABAP and you're doing the techno functional job, so you know the process, the flow of HR.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I'm
it would be
aware
easy for
about.
you. Yes, it
Yeah,
would be
for
easy for you.
I'm yeah for PA and OM process I am aware about it, and payroll process I am aware about it, and I worked on ECP module,
Yeah.
success factor
Okay.
backend. So I didn't get a
Yeah.
chance to work on front end.
Yeah. So here in success factors, we don't have back end and front end. In SAP, the difference is in SAP, you have front end and back end. Front end is called ESS or MSS. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there you'll have to log
Actually,
in as an employee. Whereas in the back end, the consultants or the HR operations logs in and does the hirings or does the personal actions there. But here you don't have anything called front end and back end or ESS or MSS. Depending on the role that you have, you will see the number of options. If I am a consultant, I have option to create a department. I have option to create the templates. I have to option to enable the fields or disable the fields. If I am an employee, when I log in, I will not see all of these things. I will not be able to create department, or I will not be able to design the template. I have option to only look at my data or edit my personal data to some extent, or I can view others' personal information.
thank you. Actually, that is a I just told you as a backend is a payroll
Hmm.
that we have
Yeah.
using a P2P. It's a configured EC and payroll. That's what I told.
Yes. Yes.
I have one doubt is regarding integration actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Integration is completely different. So you'll have different consultants for the integration. Okay. So
Mhm.
again,
Mhm.
the tool what your customer is using, depending on the tool that your customer is using, it could be Dell Boomi, it could be HANA Cloud
Mhm.
integration, or it could be PI, or it could be any other integration.
Mhm.
So
No, see, right now
every
I'm
again,
working on
every
SAP
tool is
development
different.
that
Yeah,
actually. Mhm.
every tool is different again. So if
Mhm.
you have to learn some integration, then again, what tool you want to use? What tool you want to learn? If you want to learn only Dell Boomi, you would have to learn Dell
Mhm.
Boomi. Not, again, not every customer uses Dell Boomi for their interface. They use some other
Okay.
application.
Okay. So I thought there's an integration part happening. We will map in SAP in SuccessFactors too actually.
No, success factors, we don't do any mapping in the system.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
have integration center, where you can see the mapping of the technical names of the fields what we use. Then those things are to be
Okay.
mapped with the SAP, because you have to have the tables of the third party application as well.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll stop it here for today and we'll continue tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone
Thank you so
here?
much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is the first session, right?
Yeah,
So
first session.
since you're new to the consulting, we'll see what are the terms that we use or what is the process of the configuration or implementing success factors to the customer. Okay. So basically in success factors, we have two types of products. One is called implementation and second is called the support. These are the two types of projects that we have. Now, implementation means we have to start interacting with the customer, get the requirements from customer, and configure the system as per customer's requirement. Okay, so that's implementation. Okay, and the second part is the support process. There are customers or each and every customer who has got success factors implemented for them needs a support consultant working with them. Okay, so we will be supporting the customers who has already got success factors. Now in the support, we'll look after the incident management. Now incident management means the ticketing system, like whatever doubts or whatever analysis or whatever issues that customer raises, we have to fix them. Okay, so customers would be creating incidents or tickets. So those tickets will be resolved. Second is change management. Now, when the implementation was done, maybe few things were implemented for customer. A customer might want to have some more changes in the system or some more configurations to be made in the system. So those changes will also be taken care by support team. And third, we have release management. We'll talk about release management in the coming session. Okay, so we also do the release management. So every 6 months, success factors upgrades their product. And whenever this release happens, whenever this upgrades happens, we should also understand what are the new features that have come in the release, and we need to explain the customer or we need to educate the customer about the changes in the system. So that's release. Implementation means the base system or the system is to be configured, or we have to do the configuration from scratch. Is this clear? Implementation and support, these are types of projects. Okay, now here we have seen the terms consultant, customer, implementation. Now, who are consultants? Consultants are those people who configures the system or who implements the success factor system to customer. Now, who is customer? Customer is end user. Now, we are consultants. We'll be working for the customer, the end user, who is going to use the system. Implementation partner, the authorized organizations who are authorized to implement success factor system to customer. Now, consultants will be working for implementation partner. Implementation partner examples will be your IBM, Wipro, Infosys, etc. So these are all implementation partners. Okay. Now, consultants would be working for implementation partner. Will be working for implementation partner. Now, these customers are projects for implementation partner. Got it? Any doubts here?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, like, we as a consultant working for implementation as well as support, right?
Yes.
And
Now, let's
this
say
release
you're,
management,
yes, go ahead.
uh, this release management, what you told is like the SAP will be updating success factor on a
Hmm.
regular intervals. So
Yeah.
once we hand over the project to the client, these updates that are being done by SAP, are we supposed to do that in the customer system, or they will be
No,
doing it?
no. Success factors. Now, success factors is a global product. We have thousands of customers across the globe, and the release doesn't happen for each customer. It is per application. Now, the application gets updated. We don't do it for the customer. The entire success factors application is updated. So it is now. Let me give you an example. Okay. So let's take an example of a WhatsApp application. Okay. Everybody uses WhatsApp. You have WhatsApp application in your mobile, and I have WhatsApp application in my mobile. Okay. Now, when the upgrades happen, it happens for every user. Yes or no?
Yeah.
It's a global product. So when the
Mm-hmm.
upgrade happens, it happens for everyone, not to the individual. Now, some features maybe sometimes you have an option to whether to upgrade it or not. That's a different one again. But when the upgrade happens, the system prompts you that you have an upgrade and it gets upgraded.
Okay.
The same thing, success factors also gets updated. Now we have a fixed timelines for these upgrades. So every 6 months on a particular day, it gets updated for all the customers across the globe. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's say you are a consultant working for IBM, and for IBM, Coke is the project. Coke is the end user.
Okay.
So it can be an implementation project or it can be a support project. Again, the implementation and support, it is not required or it is not mandatory that every implementation partner who have implemented for that customer has to support. No, the support can be done by a different partner. Now let's say for IBM, Coke and HSBC are two projects. Okay, Coke is implemented by Deloitte and
Okay.
IBM is supporting. HSBC implementation is done by IBM and
Mm-hmm.
support is also done by IBM. That means now implementation partner can have either support projects or implementation projects.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now we as a consultant, depending on the need of the partner. Now if you are working for IBM, today we have a support project.
Okay.
Okay, they can place it, they can put you in support project, maybe for 6 months or 1 year or 2 years. It depends on the project. After 6 months, you have a requirement of IBM has a requirement of implementation. And they can pull you into implementation from support.
Okay.
Okay, so it all depends upon the need of the partner.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the implementation and support, the type of projects. Second is the landscape. What do you understand by terms landscape? Do you know what is the landscape?
I guess it is how the system will appear on the screen of the client, like what all features they want, how it is supposed to look
No,
when we log in.
no. So the landscape of the system means the arrangement of systems in a sequence of implementation. Now, there are multiple systems that we will be working on. For one implementation, we'll be working on multiple systems. Okay, these multiple systems are configured at different times. And the arrangement of these systems in a sequence of implementation is called system landscape. For example, SuccessFactors or SAP recommends every customer to have minimum of 3 systems: development, quality, and production. So every customer across the globe will have 3 types of systems: development, quality, and production. These are the minimum systems any customer will have. Okay. Now, sometimes you may also see more than these 3 systems, like pre-production or test system or projects. You can name them anything. Minimum is 3, maximum can be any. It comes with a package. Now, these 3 systems, it comes with a package. So when you subscribe for SuccessFactors, SAP gives you these 3 systems: development, quality, and production. If your customer want to have additional systems like pre-production or projects or test system, then customer has to pay for it. Customer has to pay additional amount for these systems. Okay. Now, always we follow this way: dev, quality, and production. We follow this sequence: development, quality, and production. Now, when you get the requirement from customer, a customer says, I want to use the actions called hire, transfer, promotion, and termination. Okay. Now in system, we have around 20 plus standard events or actions. Now each of these is called an event or action. We have around 20 plus events in the system, but one of the customers says, I only want to have these 4 events. We have data change, we have position changes, we have global assignments, we have paid leave, we have unpaid leave. So we have around 20 plus standard events available in the system. But your customer said, I want to have only these 4 actions. So you need to configure this in the development system first. Go develop it in development system, configure it in development system, and you do the testing whether the events that you have enabled are showing up in the front end or not. So you have to test it, and that testing is called unit testing. We call it unit testing, where the consultant tests the configuration. Now I have enabled 4 actions: hire, transfer, promotion, and termination. Now these 4 actions are to be tested. Okay, so that is called unit testing. Now once you feel that the configuration is okay, you will be moving these configurations to quality system. This is the second system, where the end users are going to test. Your customer will test it, whether the process is running correctly or not. For transfer, you need to have 2 levels of approval. For promotion, you need 3 levels of approval. And for termination, you need to have 4 levels of approval. So your customer will be testing the entire process. They'll initiate a transfer for some test employees and see whether the 2 levels of approvals are triggering correctly or not. They'll initiate promotion, they'll initiate termination. So if they have any changes, now after testing this part, they realize that they need some more changes to be done. Maybe they want to have data changes event also. Okay, now any change that is required by customer, again you have to do it in development. You have to test it and move it to quality. Again they'll be testing in quality. And this testing, once the testing is completed, they will be giving you the sign off, and this sign off is called UAT, user acceptance testing. They'll be doing testing called user acceptance testing. Users has to test and confirm that the process what they have requested is configured in the system correctly. Then we move the configuration to production. Then we move the configuration to production. Okay, so this is the process that we follow for any customer request flow: development, quality, and production. Now these systems may be called differently by different customers. So quality, they can call it as test. Production, they can call it as prod or something else. But the basic terms that we use is dev, quality, and production. Clear?
Here the term production, does it mean like the customer will start using the system?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Production is a system where every end user logs in. Now, development, in development, only consultant logs in. Development is used by consultants. Quality or test system is used by both consultants and some end users, not all end users. Some end users who are responsible for testing the product. Maybe few from HR and few from IT. They would be testing it. And the production system, all the end users will be logging in. Each and every end user. You have 5,000 end users. All the 5,000 end users will be logging in production system. Now, consultants will also log into production system, just to see if there are any changes or if there are any issues to be fixed.
Okay. So you told like after development testing will be done, which is called unit testing. So is this testing and the landscape testing, which the customer need to pay separately? So is this same or it is different?
No, development, the testing what we do as a consultant, that is called unit testing. Now, whether your configuration is working fine or not. Now, before moving it to customer, you have to test it whether the changes what you have done in the system are working fine or not.
Okay.
Right. So customer said, I want to have this field in personal information. You have created that field. And you will not ask customer to test it directly. You will have to test it first, whether it is showing up or not.
Okay.
Now, customer will test in different ways. The customer will test, positive, will do the positive testing, will do the negative testing. Now, let's say a simple example. Now, customer has asked us to create a field in personal information. Okay, you have configured, you have added a new field in the personal information. Now, this field is mandatory field. That means users has to enter some value mandatorily, and this should allow 100 characters. Okay. So now customer will test here whether this field is mandatory or not. Can you save the record without having value in this field? Can we enter more than 100 characters? Now can we enter text in it? Okay. So what all values can you input in this? So all this testing will be done by your end users. Okay.
Okay.
Now if there are any changes, now initially they said 100 characters. Now, some cases they want to have 150 characters, so they want to increase the length to 150. So this is the change. Again, you have to do it in development and then move it to quality system.
Okay.
Any change that is requested by your customer, first it is to be done in development and then move to quality for testing. Once you get sign off, you will move it to production. In production, you will not be testing anything. Production, you will have all real-time data.
Mm-hmm.
You will not be testing anything in production system.
Okay. And once the project moves to production and then a new request comes from the client, then the same process will be done,
Same
development,
process
QA,
will
and
be followed.
production.
Development, quality, and production. Without testing anything, you will not move it to production.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the process that we follow. So any implementation or any project that you start working on, you need to find out the landscape of the process. Some customers will use only three systems. Some customer uses four. Some customers uses five. Some customer uses six. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is system landscape. The third topic is types of systems. Success factors, we have two types of systems. First one is called provisioning, and second is called instance. First is called provisioning and second one is called instance. Provisioning, only certified consultants logs into provisioning. Only certified consultants logs into provisioning. Instance, all the consultants and end users logs in. Now, each of these systems, what we have discussed here, development will have development provisioning and development instance. Quality will have quality provisioning and quality instance. Production will have production provisioning and production instance. So the certified consultants logs into provisioning first and enable all the features that are required for the customer. We only enable the features in provisioning. And then once these features are enabled, you will see all the configurable screens in instance. Now both of them are interlinked, the provisioning and the instances. These are interlinked. Whatever changes that you do in provisioning, you will see the change in the instance as well. Now, SuccessFactors has got a lot of modules. Employee Central, Compensation, PMGM, Learning Management. Okay, then you have Succession, Recruiting, Onboarding, etc. So these are the modules of SuccessFactors. Now, if any of these modules are to be implemented, first you need to enable these modules in provisioning. And again, for each module, you have different features. Within Employee Central, you have time off, you have global assignment, you have position management, you have absences, we have attendances, we have languages. So all of these are to be enabled in provisioning first. Now, global assignment or concurrent employment, these are only required for some customers. Global assignment is a feature which is used by the customer who has got their operations in different countries. Now, if your customer has got their operations in different countries and the employees of that customer are moved between the countries, then we use global assignment. So if your customer has got their operations in only one country, we don't need global assignment feature. So you don't have to enable that in provisioning. So first, all the modules and the module specific features are to be enabled in provisioning. Then you go and do the configuration in instance. To log into provisioning, only the certified consultants will have access. Only the certified consultants can log into the system. If you are not certified, you will not be able to log into provisioning. Instance, anybody can log in. Now here certification is not required. Even if you are certified or not, you can, if you have the ID, password or your credentials, you can log into the system. Here you don't need any certification. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is why certification is very important in SuccessFactors. So every aspirant who want to get into SuccessFactors has to get certified in at least one module. The first thing that is asked in your interviews are whether you are certified or not. Because without certification, you will not be able to implement SuccessFactors for any customer. Now, the first and foremost thing that we do for any implementation is setting up the features in provisioning. First, the features are to be set up in provisioning. Then you have to do the configuration in instance. And to configure or to enable the features in provisioning, you need to have certification. So if you have three systems, dev, quality and production, you'll have dev provisioning and dev instance, quality provisioning and quality instance, production provisioning and production instance. So every system you have to first do the configuration in provisioning and then in instance. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's your types of systems. Now, roles and responsibilities of a consultant. Roles and responsibilities of a SuccessFactors consultant. So earlier in SAP, we used to have different roles like a functional consultant, a technical consultant, functional consultant who configures the system, technical consultant who develops the system or who customizes the system, GRC or the security consultant who looks after the permissioning part, basis consultant who sets up the system, workflow consultant who looks after the approvals part. So we used to have these many roles in SAP, but now in SuccessFactors we only have one role. We don't have multiple roles. We have only one role called consultant who will be configuring the system, customizing the system, looking after or setting up the system, okay, permissioning and even the setup. So all of even the approvals, all of these are done by a consultant. We don't have a technical consultant, functional consultant. We don't do any coding here. So all of the activities are to be done by the consultant. Configuring, customizing, testing, and production. All of these are done by consultant. Okay. So if it is an implementation project, then you need to get the scope of the project from customer the implementation requirements are to be requested from customer. So you need to find out what your customer is looking for. Okay, so that's your job. Once you get the requirement, you have to configure that in the system. You have to test it, move it to quality, ask your customer to test it. And once you get the sign off, you move all of this configuration to production system. And you prepare the documents, how to use the system. Okay, you need to prepare the SOPs, standard operating procedures, how to hire an employee, how to navigate to hire an employee, how to maintain employee data, how to transfer an employee, how to promote an employee. So all of these things you will have to prepare and share it with your customer. Okay.
Yeah.
Clear?
So right from collecting the information till the production, everything is considered as a consultant responsibility.
Yeah, it is the responsibility of the customer. It is responsibility of the consultant to get all the requirements from customer and implement those changes in the system.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
sharing the requirements is to be done by your customer. But before sharing the information, customer should know how to handle the system or how to use the system or what all do we have in the system. So you need to explain. When you start interacting with your customer, you will be giving a demo of SuccessFactors, how to log into the system, what all we do in system, what data is maintained. Okay, how do we maintain this data? So all of these are to be explained. So what we have in system and what is your customer's requirement or what is your customer's requirement that is to be configured in system. Customer gives you all their requirements, right? In personal information, we have fields like first name, middle name, last name, etc. Gender, salutation, etc. So these are all the fields. Now your customer says, now you have to show them these are the fields that we have. The first name is a mandatory field. Last name is a mandatory field in standard system. Okay. Your customer says, I don't want last name to be mandatory because for some of the employees we only have first name and we don't have last. So this is the change that we have to do. So you have to remove this mandatory one. You have to remove the option of mandatory and make it optional. Now you also want to have your customer also want to have one more field called initials. So this is to be configured. This change is to be done in the system. This change is to be done in the system. This change is to be done in the system. Now this is make the field optional. Create a new field. Okay. Now in salutation, generally you have values Mr., Miss, Mrs. Okay, so these are the values that you have in salutation field. It's a drop-down field. You just go select the value. Now your customer said, I want to have another value called master or doctor. Now this is the change that we have to do. What is that? Add a new value to the existing values. Okay, so these are the changes that we have to do in system. This is given by your customer. Now, when you make these changes, you have to do unit testing. You have made this field optional. First, you go try to maintain some data, save the record. If it is allowing without value in last name, yes, that's fine. If it is not allowing, that means it is a mandatory field. Go to salutation field in the drop down, see whether the new value doctor is showing up or not. Go to personal information and see whether you can see initials field. Initials editable field, whether users are able to maintain data in initials or not. That you test in unit testing. Move it to quality, ask your customer to do all these changes. Once they confirm, these changes are to be moved to production. Clear?
Yeah.
So these are the roles and responsibilities of a consultant. Now this is the configuration that we have to do. Apart from this, we also have permissioning. What all can be done by an employee? What all can be done by a manager? What all can be done by a HR? So all of these are to be permissioned. When I log into system as an employee, I should be able to look at my personal information, edit my personal information, but can only see my compensation information. When manager logs in, manager should be able to edit their direct report data as well. When HR logs in, HR should be able to edit all the information for all the employees. So these permissions are to be controlled. Any approvals that are required. When user makes some changes in the system should trigger a workflow or approval. You configure a workflow. So all of these changes are to be done in the implementation by the implementation consultant. And if you are working on a support project, then you need to look after the incidents or the tickets created by your customer. Let's say they are stuck up with some hiring. They are unable to proceed the hiring. They are unable to do a hiring in the system. So what is causing the issue? They'll create a ticket. Then as a support consultant, you have to go analyze and fix the issue. Why they are unable to hire an employee. So analyze, find out the root cause and fix the issue. That's incident management. And if they request for any changes in any change in the system, so those changes are to be implemented. And also on the release management, you will be working on the release. Okay, so that's the roles and responsibilities of a success factors consultant. So when you look at any job postings, okay, of success factors in portals like Naukri or Monster, okay, there you will see all of these activities. Should know end-to-end implementation. What is end-to-end implementation? Starting from gathering the requirements to deployment of the changes to production system. So whatever we do in between these two stages, so we should have done or we should have experience in these areas. Okay, so be it a support role or a implementation role. So you'll see the list of activities that you will be doing for your customer. Any doubts here?
No, nothing as of now.
Nothing as of now. So we'll stop it here for today because this is the first day. I think this would be too much. We have discussed about types of projects, system landscape, types of systems, and roles and responsibilities. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll stop it here for today and we'll continue tomorrow with some other topics. Yeah, go ahead.
can you show me the screen with all the standard fields that SAP provides so that I will have an idea how SAP system looks like?
Now, as an end user, you will not know whether it is a standard field or a custom field.
Mm-hmm.
When you go and look at the employee profile, you'll see all the fields that are available in each section or each portlet.
Mm-hmm.
You see here, I've opened one of the employee. Now, this is whatever that you see here. Personal information is a standard portlet with all these fields.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. National ID, biographical information, these are the standard fields. This now you will also find now if you want to have age or any custom field in biographical information or any portlet, you can add.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these are standard fields. You go to job information, you find all standard fields. These are all standard fields. And you want to configure, you want to add a custom field, yes, you can add.
Okay. So whatever custom fields we add, it will be visible on the screen once we do the implementation.
Yes, when you add a custom field, you should ask your customer who should see this field, who should edit this field, who should delete this, who should have access to delete this field. Maybe
Okay.
your customer might need a field which is only a viewable for employee, editable for HR,
Mm-hmm.
and can be deleted only by consent. So you can configure that.
Okay. And
Okay.
also we can customize these the topics that I've mentioned, like live event,
Yes.
compensation, payroll.
Now all
We
of
can
these,
add.
yeah, anything, yeah, anything that you see, you can add, you can move them to a different place. You can move this. Now these are called sections,
Okay.
and each section has got subsection. These are all subsections.
Mm-hmm.
About me is a section which has got subsections of personal information, ID information, and so on. Now ID information is a subsection. If I go to ID information, I see for this subsection we have two portlets. These are called portlets or blocks. We
Okay.
call them blocks or portlets. So we have two blocks: national ID
Mm-hmm.
information, work permit information. Biographical information is a subsection which has got only one block or one portlet called biographical information. Now some have two blocks and some have only one block.
Mm-hmm.
So these things can be changed. Now if you want this contact information to be moved to some other section. Now somebody has moved compensation statement to address section. See here.
Mm-hmm.
This
Yeah.
belongs to compensation somewhere here. It should be here.
Mm-hmm.
Now you also
Mm-hmm.
have it here. You see here, you also have it here. And it is
Yeah.
also showing up in the address also.
Mm-hmm. So we can just move it back to the compensation.
Yes. Now
Okay.
yes, you can add fields, you can add portlets, you can move the portlets, you can move the sections, you can move subsections.
Okay.
You can rename this text. Now it says about me. Now I want
Mm-hmm.
to call it as personal information. Yes, you can change this.
Okay.
What fields you want to show, what sections you want to show, what portlets you want to enable. All of this can be configured. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll stop it here. We'll continue tomorrow.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. So yesterday we discussed about the types of systems and who can log into provisioning and who can log into in-stage. And it is clear that if you want to do implementation as a consultant, you should have the valid certification. Okay, only if you have a valid certification, you will be able to log into provisioning and do the implementation. So that means certification is mandatory for SuccessFactors. Okay, so how to do the certification of SuccessFactors? So SuccessFactors has got different, because it has got different modules, we also have certification for each module. So these are some of the modules. So you have certification for each of this module. And for Employee Central, certification code is THR 81. This THR 81. Okay. Now, if you want to do certification, then you need to log into training.sap.com. This is an official website of SAP from where you can do your certification. Okay, SAP certification. Just click on view SAP certifications. I see these are all SAP certifications, and the one what we have to do is THR 81. Let me change my country here. Yeah, let me switch. Maybe because I am certified in Employee Central, it is not showing up. THR 81. So here THR 81, SuccessFactors Employee Central Academy. Yeah. THR 81 is SuccessFactors Employee Central Core Academy. Okay, now this course contains, or the certification contains total of 80 questions. And all of these questions are of multiple choice. All the 80 questions are of multiple choice. Now, some of these questions contains multiple answers. Okay. So out of these 80 questions, some questions you will get, you'll see that there are 2 or 3 answers, and you need to answer all those answers correctly. If a particular question has got 3 answers, then you need to answer all of those 3 correctly. There are no negative marks, and the duration for this certification examination is 3 hours. Okay, and the pass percentage is
actually multiple questions, in the sense we need to select only one option. No, it will allow us to select 3 options also if the 2 answers are correct or 3 answers are correct also.
Yes, wherever you have single answer, you will see radio buttons.
Okay.
Okay, and wherever you have multiple answers, now they will also specify that this question contains 2 answers or this question contains 3 answers. They'll specify that. There you have check boxes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So if you see radio buttons, then it is only one answer. You can only select one. If you select A and if you want to select B, then when you select B, Now A will be deselected.
Okay.
But if it is
The answer will get
checkboxes,
changed
that
from
means
A
it
to B.
contains, yes, answer will change from A to B. Whereas if you have multiple answers, then you'll find the check boxes there instead of radio buttons. You can select multiple options there. Okay.
Okay.
I have to show you if it is available.
If 3 answers are correct for one question, we'll be getting marks only if we correct, if we answer all the 3 options.
All the 3 correctly. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's say you'll have multiple choice of A, B, C, D, and E. And you need to select 3 answers correctly. Let's say A, B, C is the correct answer. So if you have selected A, B, D, then you will not get score for this question. Then no
So
negative
we
mark.
won't get even a half mark like that also you won't get.
No,
all
you
the
will
3
not
answers
get
should
even.
be correct only.
Yeah, 3 answers should be correct.
Okay.
Should show up actually THR81 here. I'm not sure why it is not showing up. It should be somewhere here only. THR81 also.
Is there any website where we can see the sample question paper?
Yeah, sample also you'll get to see. Let's say this one. If I go here, I'll take some other module. Okay, so this is onboarding. Click view details. I see here. You have sample questions here. Examination contains 80 questions. The cutoff score for onboarding, it is 66%. I think for EC, it is 62%. You need to get 57 answers correctly. 57 or 62% cutoff score for EC. Okay. For onboarding, it is 66% cutoff score. I think it is 57. Let me see. It's been a long time that I've done my certification. 62, I think. Yeah, 62. 62 is a cutoff score for Employee Central. In certification, you have 2 options. One is CER 006, okay, which costs you 42,277 INR. This is Indian rupees. And then second option is CER 001. Here you have 16,911. Okay, here you will get only 1 attempt, and here you get 6 attempts. You get here 6 attempts.
Okay.
Now 6 attempts means you can use these 6 attempts to do certification in different modules. If you have cleared your certification in the first attempt, you can use the other 5 attempts for other modules. If you have failed to clear your Employee Central certification in the first attempt, you can use your second attempt. Again, if you fail in the second attempt, you can also use third attempt. So for one module, you can use maximum of 3 attempts. Whereas CER 001, you'll only get 1 attempt. If you don't clear your certification in first attempt, then this will, now again, you have to subscribe for with another CER 001. Clear?
Ravi, there will be any gap duration between one certification and the second certification? In the sense,
No,
you are telling that if you are
you can do it
not
immediately.
passed out for the first attempt, you can go for the second attempt. You are saying no, there should be any gap like that.
No, you can also do that immediately. If the slots are available, you can take it up immediately. Generally, what we do is we will be booking this slot. So whenever you want to write or whenever you want to do your certification, let's say tomorrow you want to do your certification, you need to see the available slots. You can take your certification from home itself. All that you need is proper internet with webcam. You should have webcam and you should connect to your headsets. Okay, because a proctor will be watching you throughout your examination. 3 years, your proctor would be watching you. So you should switch on your webcam. Proctor will take control. Proctor will see if there are any applications or background applications that are running. Okay. In fact, it doesn't allow you to open the examination dashboard if you open any other applications. Like you cannot open Word or Chrome or Internet Explorer or Excel or PowerPoints or snipping tools. You'll not be able to open any of these applications when the examination starts. So you have to close all these applications. Then only you'll be routed to certification dashboard. Once you start your certification examination, then a proctor will take control, they will ask you to show the surroundings of your place. You should not be keeping any mobiles or papers or books with you. So they'll be watching you throughout the examination. Okay. Here you see CTHR 81. This is Employee Center. Now let's say for sample questions, just click on View More.
Is there any option where we can book a slot for 3 attempts only, as we can give exam for one particular module only 3 times?
So first, let's say you're booked for your Employee Central examination tomorrow. No, immediately after completing the certification, you'll get the score. Okay, and at the end, you'll see whether you're passed or failed.
Okay.
The result will be immediately once after completing the submit button only we
immediately.
can get.
Yeah, immediately once you complete this, then once you submit, you'll get your score. You see here what role-based permission steps. No, this is your reporting. There are 2 correct answers here. Which I want to select these 2. I'll just show you 3 correct answers.
Oh.
Okay, 3 correct answers.
Radio button.
1. This is radio button. 2 correct answers. Just randomly selecting. Okay, 3 correct answers. 2 correct answers. 2 correct answers. Here you have more of this. Okay. Now all of the 10 questions are completed. 10 of 10. Now time remaining is 13 minutes. Okay. And you click on submit. You'll get your score immediately. It says whether you're passed or failed. Total score 2 out of 10.
Score is 2.
This is your sample.
Okay.
Okay. Now here, if you see the version, what it says is 2H 2021. Okay. Now 2H 2021 means it is the latest version of certification that you have. 2H is second half of 2021. We have not discussed about release management, right? We'll discuss about release management here. Now the version what you see here, it says 2H 2021. Okay, so in next 1 week or 10 days, this will change to 1H 2022. I'll tell you what are these 2H 2021 and 1H 2022. Okay, clear on certification? Any doubts?
No.
Okay. So let me refresh this once. They are changing the pattern here. Yeah, that's why percentage option. Okay. Now let's talk about the release management. Now SuccessFactors upgrades their product every 6 months. So earlier SuccessFactors was upgrading the product once, quarterly once. Now it is updating half yearly once. Okay, that means every year they will be updating the product twice. Okay, and these are called 1H and 2H. 1H is first half and 2H is second half. So this year 1H, you will see it has 1H 2022, which has happened recently in the month of May. And 2H it is expected in October. So every year in the month of April, May and October, November, the release happens. Now this release contains three types of features. One is universal features, admin opt-ins, and provisioning opt-ins. Okay, so the release contains universal features, admin opt-ins, and provisioning opt-ins. Universal feature main feature which are applicable for all the customers across the globe. You don't have to do anything. Once the application gets updated, you'll see the new functionalities. You'll see those new features. For admin opt-ins, every customer will have option whether to use that feature or not. That means if you want to enable or if you want to use this feature, you need to do some configuration. Here, universal features, you will not be able to do any configuration. So this by default, system gets updated with the universal features. For admin opt-ins, you have to do some configurations to use that feature. And these two are in instance. And provisioning opt-ins, same as your admin opt-in. If you want to use this functionality, you need to enable it in the provisioning. So every release, you will see these features: universal, admin opt-ins, and provisioning opt-ins. So once the release happens, you have to log into system and see what are the changes that have come in that release. Now, how do you know what release features we have and whether those features are applicable to your customer or not? So all of this information, you will find it in a portal called community.successfactors.com. So let me copy this here for certification. This is your certification, and for release, you get all the information about the release management in community.successfactors.com. Okay, so you go to products, release updates, roadmap, and patches. You click on release updates, roadmap, and patches. You scroll down, you see the release dates here: release, preview, and production. First half 2022, the release happened in preview on 15th April, and in production it happened in May 20. So what is this preview and what is the production? Now we talked about the instances or the systems that we have: development, quality, and production, pre-production, test, and project. So these are the types of systems that we have, or types of the system landscape that we have. Okay, now these systems will be split into two servers. Now let's say your customer is having development, quality, and production. Development, quality, and production system. Now these systems will be routing to one of the servers, and these servers are called data centers. The databases get stored in the data centers. It gets stored in the data centers. Now, each region we have different data centers. For US, we have one data center. For UK, we have a different data center. For India, for Asian countries, we have a different data center. For Australia, New Zealand, you have a different data centers. So these data centers are named as DC4, DC8, DC10, DC12, DC11, DC2, and so on. This is data center. Again, each region or DC4 is specific to US. DC4 is data center 4 is specific to US. DC8 is specific to UK. Now, data center 4 is again split into two parts. One is called preview and second is called production. All the data centers are split into two, preview and production. Okay, so DC4 also you see DC4 preview, DC4 production. DC8 you see DC8 preview, DC8 production. DC10 you see DC10 preview and DC10 production. Now why these data centers are split into preview and production is because of the release management. Only because of the release management, the data centers are split into preview and production. All the customers' instances or all the customers' systems. Now, if your customer is using these three systems, development, quality, and production, one of it, now production will always be in production data center. This is for, now this is common. Every customer's production system or production instance will be in production data center, in the respective data center. If you are working for a US customer, then their data center will be DC4. The production data center, you'll see production system. Quality will be in preview. Quality will be in preview data center. And development will be in prod data center. If you have another system called pre-production, then it can be in preview or it can be in production. So at least one system, now production will always be in production data center. And out of these two systems, one of it should be in preview and one should be in production. Now, this can be in preview, this can be in production. Or this can be in preview and this can be in production. Minimum of one system should be in preview. Other than production, you forget about production. Production will always be in production data center. Other than the production, the rest of the systems, one should be in preview. Minimum one should be in preview. And one should be in production. If you have three, then two can be in preview, one can be in production. Or two can be in production, one can be in preview. So it all depends upon your customer's choice. So why do they split this instances or systems into preview and production data center? Because when the release happens, SuccessFactors upgrades the application in the data center. Now they will update the preview data center first. Always they update the preview data center. Now all the customers who are in this preview data center will see those changes. Now the quality system, when you log into quality, you will see it as 1H 2022. After 1 month, you'll have actually 1 month time, 1 month or 1 month plus 5 or 6 days time to move these changes to production. So in this 1 month, you have to log into quality or whichever previous system. You need to log in and see what are the new features that have come in. Okay, you test it. If you found any issues with the new release features, you create a ticket with SAP and ask SAP to stop it moving to production system. So they will not be doing the release directly into the production. So it is always preview. Now that's why if you see here, you see the first half of 2022, you see preview and production. So preview happened on 15th of April. And after 1 month, 5 days, You see, it happened on May 20th in production systems. The next release, which is expected, is on October 14th in preview and November 18th in production. So it always happens in the midnights of Fridays. Now, 15th April is Friday. You see here, 15th April is a Friday. Similarly, May 20th is a Friday. Friday midnight, the system gets updated. Again, the next release is going to happen on 14th October.
So for
After
every
one,
update and all, they are doing the testing, like testing part. Then only the if it is well and go, then only they are moving into the production. That's what
usually all the release features what comes in are again tested by SAP. But now, since they cannot test all the scenarios, now as a consultant, you need to test for your customer whether because of these new release features, if there is any impact on the existing process. So every customer follows a different process, right?
Yeah.
So whenever the release happens, you have to test the entire application, whether all the functionalities are working fine or not, or you need to test the new release features as well, whether those features are working for your customer properly or not. Very rare cases you'll find some bugs, you'll escalate it to SAP and SAP will if required they will stop moving the new features to production system, or if they can fix it immediately they'll fix that, or if it is the issue in our understanding they'll explain you saying that now the purpose of this feature is so and so, you need to configure this, or no, you need to do this to see this change. Okay, so we'll stop it here for today. We'll continue tomorrow.
I guess you skipped my one question. As a consultant, do we get any mail regarding this release that
No,
happens every 6 months? How do we come
now
to know?
now community.successfactors.com, you need to now see here. These are the dates,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now you know that the next release is going to happen in October 14th.
Mm-hmm.
You will also be getting to your official email ID. You'll also be getting the information. And
Okay.
before October 14th, you will see some webinars happening. Now, SAP would be conducting some webinars on the new release features. If you
Okay.
enroll for that, you will get notifications of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or if you're a certified consultant, you'll be getting the email notification saying that a new release is going to happen and so and so.
Okay. Fine. That's what I
Okay.
wanted to know. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Or you can also, before October 14th, just October 10th or 11th, you can come to community.successfactors.com and see if there are any updates in the releases.
Okay.
Okay. Every customer
Yeah.
will be notified before release.
Mm-hmm. And if there is any release in provisioning, then only a consultant is supposed to do that. Otherwise, if it is not
Otherwise,
in
yeah.
provisioning, the
Yeah.
customer can update that in their own system.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, because of the release only, see now every customer who is using SuccessFactors, they need a support consultant.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot do all these things on their own
Yeah.
because the configuration knowledge only consultants will have. Customer will not have configuration knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Customer will have the product knowledge, how to use the product, how to hire an
Yeah.
employee, or how to maintain the data. But
Mm-hmm.
what configuration is making that screen available or making that field available on the screen? That is done by consultants. So just because of this release, every customer goes with the support consultants.
Okay.
Now, it is our responsibility to make them understand about the new release features.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Oh.